A few months ago, I had talked about how California had changed their laws regarding people intentionally transferring STDs to other people, and how that had changed from a felony to a misdemeanor. And I believe in that I had talked about how this could only cause STD rates to skyrocket. I don't see how lowering the crime for something will make less people do it. Well, it turns out, what do you know? I was right. I was right a whole lot damn faster than I thought. Because it seems that California's STD rates are going up. And I read an article about it, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever read in my life. And now I'm about to share my pain with you. Because, god damn it, I can't take this alone. I need help with this one. If I keep this to myself, I will go nuts. Shut up. I know what you're going to say. The article, and I'll have a link down to it, is called STDs in LA County are skyrocketing. Officials think racism and stigma may be to blame. Yeah, it's not that whole making intentionally transferring STDs no longer a felony thing. Nah, it's racism, y'all. Them STDs like them black chicks. What? It's one of those titles you see that you just have to stop whatever you're doing and punch a wall. Because that's the only way to make the really painful thought go away, is by inflicting pain on yourself. I'm not going to go through the entirety of the article. There's going to be a little bit that I skip, but I'm going to explain the parts that I skip. For example, the first few paragraphs are basically just some sort of extracurricular sex ed class that the author is talking about, how that could be one way to help. And yeah, sure, that's fine. I got nothing against that in general. Here's where it starts to get a little bit odd. The focus on stigma is just one of many ways Los Angeles County health officials are trying to think outside the box as they struggle to curb rising STD rates. It's clear that the traditional ways of preventing disease, patients seeing a doctor regularly to get screened and treated, have not been working, said Dr. Jeffrey Gunzenhauser, LA County's interim health officer. If that really happened, this problem would be taken care of, he said. I have a question. If that were true, if people were actually going in to see doctors and then that wasn't working, yeah, I completely agree with you. But people don't. Therein lies the issue. People do not go to see doctors. We, as Americans, due to the stigma of going to a doctor or just the inability to afford one, do not go to doctors near as much as we should. We will typically just stay at home and rough it through whatever the hell is wrong with us. And the idea that doctors are not working is batshit, especially when it's coming from a doctor. I don't know how you can think that. How you can think, well, people going to doctors isn't working because people still have STDs, so we need to try something different. Are you mad? You're looking to create something here. I don't know how else to describe it. it's baffling to me that a doctor, of all people, could think this, but I guess in this day and age, you have to have the right politics to get any kind of position in anything, especially in places like California. They go on to say how high STD rates are the top of the priorities for all these health centers and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. They then go on to explain how there is this stigma in America, how we are prudish about sex. All I heard was "don't get pregnant," said a high school girl. And to me, maybe I'm misinterpreting things, but to me, if I had a parent that said, just don't get pregnant. Well, first of all, I'm a guy, so I kind of can't get pregnant. Medical science may one day change that, but for now, I can't get pregnant. But let's assume I was a girl. And let's assume I had a parent that just said, just don't get pregnant. I would take that to be the exact opposite of prudish. That is a very open parent. That is a very do whatever you want kind of parent, which I think is the problem here, is that parents aren't being there for their children. They're just letting them do whatever the hell they want. And then the kids are getting in trouble because of it, because no one is doing anything to talk with them, to educate them, to stop them. I'm talking like 15, 16-year-old kids, by the way. And that, the article kind of goes on, and I do agree, but that wasn't the major point they were making with that. That was sort of an unintended side that they were bringing up. That is where I will agree that, yes, parents need to be there for their kids and to actually talk with them and tell them how the world works. Otherwise, you end up with the rather disturbing boom of 18 and younger pregnancies that we've been seeing. And the idea that we are prudish as a society seems rather contradicted by the fact that in this article they keep stating over and over again that we are having more sex now than we have ever had as a society. So something doesn't quite add up here. This is my major problem with this article in general. It is a lot of contradictions. It's a lot of, well, this is what I say, but then this is what the facts show, but I'm still going to say this, even though the facts show something completely different, but I'm still going to say it as if the facts are representing what I'm saying. I don't understand how someone can just ignore reality to that level and change it up to mean whatever the fuck they want. But then I'm not a journalist. Haha. Now, before I go back, I will say, to elaborate on something, the reason I say if you're 15, 16, you should have these things explained to you is because you're still a kid. Once you're 18, once you are legally an adult, the onus is on you. We live in a world where we have more information available to us at any given point in time than ever. One of the things that was in this article was, I didn't know I could get STDs from anal. Do you know how long it would take to Google that to find out? If you are 18 or older and you don't know that, and you don't bother to look it up yourself as an adult, then that's not a failing of society. That's a failing of your basic intellect. Oh, but I don't have a smartphone. I don't have a computer. Yeah, bullshit, first of all. But second, let me give you the benefit of the doubt that you don't have either of those things. Okay, go to a library and look it up. It's that easy. All libraries have some way of looking up things online. This isn't rocket science here. It's basic information that you can look up yourself, that you can find out for as yourself. If you're 15, 16, 17 even, I'm willing to throw you a bone. You are not an adult. So I can understand that. Once you are 18 and older, then yeah, the onus is kind of on you. Welcome to the wonderful world of being an adult. You gotta take responsibility for shit. It ain't fun. But it's how the world works. Then they get into how the STD rates are skyrocketing. Gonorrhea, for example, have the cases have doubled in the last about 5 years, from 2012 to 2017, and all the information that they show is pre law change. This is all information that happened before the laws were changed. So yes, the actual law changing that using your junk as a weapon is down from a felony to a misdemeanor, that does not play into part in this information. My question here is, if lawmakers had this information, if they saw that STD rates were skyrocketing already, then what fucking sense does it make to turn a law that's meant to prevent someone from using their junk as a weapon into a joke law because, oh, well, it's targeted towards gay people and that's discrimination? Are you kidding me? Do you think that this will help? This is going to cause rates to climb even higher because the punishment is nothing now. It's a misdemeanor that you could get 6 months for, at most. That's it. As opposed to a felony, which would put you on a list and give you several years for. And you wonder why rates are going up and will be going up in the future. Once we see data for 2018, 2019, I want to see how much STD rates skyrocketed from that point on, from the end of 2017 to, let's even 2022. Let's give it 5 years. I want to see how much STD rates skyrocket in that time period, because I am willing to imagine that it's going to be at a rate that is above and beyond even what we are seeing beforehand. Then the article goes into, is systemic racism to blame? Are STDs racist? I can't make this shit up. Los Angeles County launched a Center for Health Equity in October. You know, the same time that they made it so that it's no longer a felony to use your junk as a weapon. To address the idea that health predominantly outside the healthcare setting, happens outside the healthcare setting. My brain. Said its director, Heather Jew Northover, at a recent meeting. It happens where we live, work, play, and pray. Yes. We are human beings. Our health is constant. It happens everywhere. It's not just a doctor's office. No one fucking thinks that. Are you daft? That's just being pedantic. No one thinks that health only matters when you're in a doctor's office. No one. That's just fucking stupid. This is taxpayer money. The center will target 5 health disparities, including high rates of STDs among certain minority groups. Yes, because if something is more prominent in minorities, that means it's racist. There can be no other explanation. Nationwide, STD rates have been climbing for the past 5 years. Gee, I wonder why. Don't forget, folks, we are very, very prudish. More people were diagnosed with syphilis, chlamydia, or gonorrhea in 2016 than ever before. Some blame underfunding of STD prevention programs, as well as falling condom usage. You'd think that would be the logic here. There's also speculation that people are having sex with more partners because of hookup apps. Again, no shit Sherlock. But the picture is more complicated when it comes to the high STD rates among minorities. Why? Because they don't use hookup apps? They still use condoms every single day? Why is it different amongst them than it is amongst everyone else? Gay and bisexual men make up the vast majority of new syphilis cases. In LA County, syphilis rates among African American women are 6 times higher than white women and 3 times higher than Latina women. Did you ever stop and think that maybe it's because those groups might be having more sex? I don't mean to sound so blunt with it, but just looking at base reproduction statistics, white people are not reproducing at the rates that black and Latino people are reproducing at. So logic would also, follow that they aren't having as much sex. Just a thought. I could be dead wrong. But I didn't jump to racism immediately, now did I? Northover said that officials need to evaluate what's called structural or systemic racism, the way housing or education policies may negatively impact people and their health. Studies have found, for example, that people with HIV who had low levels of literacy were less likely to follow their treatment, and that poor Americans were more likely to engage in risky sexual behavior, increasing their risk of STDs. So it's not a minority problem. It's not a racism problem. It's a we broke problem. Last I checked, white people can be broke too. How is your financial situation a race thing? How is you being poor a race thing? It's an economic and financial issue, not a race issue. You admit this yourself in your article, and yet you're still going with the racism angle, because that will get you clicks. That will get you views. That's all you want. You know exactly what this is, but you're going to say it's something else to bring on the viewers. That's what this boils down to. And this, I get so sick and so annoyed by this, because this shit happens all the fucking time. Hell, my own title is probably going to sound clickbaity because I am almost word for word going with the title of this fucking article. The article pretty much finishes there. It just goes on about how, this is a race thing, while continuing to go on about how this is a fucking financial issue. I don't know what's wrong with the media. I do know what's wrong with California. They're fucking insane. And they never look at what is actually the cause of things, because that'd be too damn easy. No one can ever be to blame for anything bad happening to them. It's got to be some sort of systemic or societal issue. It can never be that people fucked up themselves, or that they don't have enough money, so they kind of were in a situation where they were just really bad off. No. It's got to be racism. It's got to be sexism. It's got to be some other sort of ism or ist or what the hell ever. Look, this is not, first of all, how you write an article, unless you want to be Gawker, which we know where that ends. But second, and most importantly, this is not how you help or fix things. This is how you get people on the internet, idiots like me, to joke about this kind of shit and say that you're a fucking moron. This doesn't fix anything. Changing a law so that it's no longer a felony to use your penis and vagina as if they were a lethal weapon That's not how you fix things. What you do is you give people, if you're so gung-ho about fixing shit, what you do is you give people tools, condoms, whatever specific things women use that are the equivalent thereof, education. Make them after school, after work, whatever, nighttime, free classes that people can volunteer to teach and that you can just go to if you want to know more about this kind of stuff. That kind of shit. Volunteer stuff, community stuff. That's what fixes this kind of shit. Saying it's racism that STDs are targeting more black people, so it's gotta be because they hate the darkies. That is fucking stupid, and that does nothing. And yet, I can guarantee in a year's time, I will see this same fucking article all over again, and I will lose my shit once again. Because we never learn. Especially the media. As long as it keeps getting them clicks, never learn. This has been Math Machine just going on a very long rant about how STDs don't like black people. Once again, show me the data in 5 years. I want to see that, and I'm going to laugh. Or cry, whichever happens first. Peace out.